Okay, so for geometry, I wanted to do just a very quick review over units 1 and 2. I picked some interesting random words that seem to sometimes stump people. These are words that I know you know. They're just words that sometimes, I know especially Jacaria, you and Lucas have had those moments where you'll sit there and you'll be like, oh, I know what that word means. And I know I can see it in your eyes and you guys can like explain where exactly it was, but sometimes the definition just, eludes you. So I'm giving these to you. If you copy them down, good for you. I think that copying them down will help you learn them even better or help you remember them because you already know these. It's just the remembering. Now the teacher in me is going to teach this as if you don't know it, but remember, this is all just review. All last week was just review too. So let's jump into it. So the one thing I wanted to go over was a straight line. A straight line is determined by any 2 points. Now that is important. It's determined by any 2 points. You cannot determine a straight line by 3 points. It has to be 2. Sorry, my kids are in the background being loud and they need to be quiet. Okay, so a straight line is determined by any 2 points. Now the midpoint is just simply a point that divides a line into 2 equal parts. Okay, so the midpoint is simply that point that divides it into two equal parts. Now bisect is to divide equally into 2 parts. Whoop, I put a B. So parts. So here you can see you would bisect something at the midpoint. You may not have the midpoint when you bisect something, but when you bisect something, you end up with the midpoint, that point that it crosses it. You can bisect with a point, you can bisect with a line, just pay attention to what it's asking you for, okay? And then regular, this is another word I want to remind you of. Regular means that it's equiangular and equilateral. Okay, you need to make sure that it is both equiangular and equilateral. Okay, so similar versus congruent. So similar versus congruent. So congruent is same shape, same size, and always equal. If you can't see where I'm going here, you're going to have some always, sometimes, nevers here. So it's always same shape, always same size, and always equal. Whereas similar is the same shape. It's sometimes same size and sometimes equal. So what this simply means is that it's going to always be the same shape. Whereas similar triangles are not always equal. They can sometimes be equal. Sometimes I can have 2 similar triangles who end up having similar, well, they're proportionate areas. They can sometimes be equal because if you have a congruent shape, it is also similar, but generally you would go with congruent over that. So I'm actually just going to say that similar, really, what you need to know about similar is that it's the same shape, okay? Because everything else is going to fall under congruent for the most part, but it is the same shape. They have to be the same shape to be similar. Okay, and then finally, I'm going to go over parallel lines with you. So parallel lines never touch. If I were to draw a third parallel line in the middle here, it would be parallel to both the other lines, but right now I'm going to talk about angle pairs. So we've got vertical angles, and I'm going to list those pairs. We've got alternate interior angles, we've got alternate exterior angles. Let me see. I may not be able to fit all this right now. Okay, I can fit one more and then we'll have to slide the paper down. So alternate, there, I can go up. Okay, so alternate interior, alternate exteriors. Oh, and then consecutive interior. Okay, so consecutive interior is the last one we have. I was trying to figure out what I was missing. Okay. Notice I did not put consecutive exterior. Consecutive exterior is not an option. Okay, so vertical angles are the angles that are directly across from each other. So not like directly across from each other like here and here. They're directly across, so I could draw a straight line between them. So 1 and 4, 3 and 2, 7 and 6, 5 and 8. So I'm just gonna list them: 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 8, 6 and 7. Okay? Alternate interior. They are alternate sides of a line, but they are interior angles. So I've got these 4 are my interior angles because they're between the 2 parallel lines. So I'm looking for ones that are on opposite sides, but so see how they're technically opposite sides, but they are also along the same line. So I'm looking for complete opposites. So this would be 3 and 6, and then 5 and 4. Okay, alternate exterior follows the same thing. 1 and 2, they're not alternate exterior because they're on the same line. So I'm gonna do 1 and 8 and 7 and 2. And then I've got consecutive interiors. They're on the same side, but they are on the same side of the line. So that would be 3 and 5 and 4 and 6. Okay, one thing I want to talk to you here. Vertical angles are equal. Alternate interior angles are equal. Alternate exterior angles are equal. Consecutive interiors are supplementary. They add to equal 180. Okay? Keep this in mind when you have these. You are going to have a section one of these days this week over this section. So make sure that you are reviewing these. Please make sure, go back over your notes, review everything. It's going to be 3 days worth of exam. That's all you're doing though. It's basically 3 quizzes. So they're going to be about 10 questions each. So 10 plus 10 plus 10 on 3 different days is only a total of 30 questions, and 10 questions a day. 10 questions a day with no other work is going to be no big deal compared to what you've been doing for me. So I really appreciate it. This week, just log in, do your work, and turn it in, and we will be good. And I will see you next time. Bye.